Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight, you guys asked for it, so here it is. I give you the Tier 7 Russian cruiser Kutuzov. Or Kutuzov, depending on who you talk to. Now, why do we not see more Kutuzovs out there? Simple. It became obsolete immediately because in Wargaming's immediate, self-gratification, they're like, hey, here's a Russian cruiser. It's got a smoke screen, gets to sit in the back, do things. Of course, that doesn't work nowadays because nobody on your team will do anything anyway. So it's not like you get to use the smoke screens very often. However, it was immediately obsoleted, or made obsolete, by the release of the Ochakov. Ochakov is just better across the board. Period. Just a better ship. And so, yeah. Kutuzov, not my favorite ship to play in the world. Because it epitomizes everything that I hate about bad cruiser players. Right? This ship does not do well spotting for itself. It just doesn't. It has no armor, really. I mean, you can occasionally get lucky and bounce a shell here and there, but no real armor. You take citadels at weird, funky angles, which we'll definitely showcase in this one, and then all it is an HE spamming cruiser. And in order to get the HE to actually be useful, running EOP is almost mandatory. Otherwise, you're simply just going to shatter and rely on RNGesus to give you fires. And let's be real, that doesn't work for me. I cannot get fires consistently, even without running EOP. But what I want you guys to pay attention to is the sheer incompetence of my teammates right off the bat. Now, don't get me wrong, we're going to showcase some great teammates too, but the people that spawn next to me are always the worst on the team. It's just, I don't know why, I'm cursed, okay? It's just the way it is. But I actually had APs from the previous battle loaded, and I didn't realize it, so first shot, we didn't even hit him anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But you can see, I'm going to go ahead, try to use my smoke screen here. I am reversing slightly, and this smoke does not ever sit out in front of, there we go. Now it's kind of sitting out in front of us. So now we get to hide in the smoke screen and do what cruisers do best, right? However, right off the bat, you're going to see that enemy Hayate is out there fighting our, I think it was a Velos. Now, Velos should at least have somewhat of a fight, but the problem is, he has two cruisers that are capable of helping him. Our poor guy doesn't. I cannot hit a destroyer at this range. There is basically no way. These shells aren't the slowest things in the world, but they definitely struggle at hitting anything that's dodging outside of, 10 kilometers. Alright? Now, I say that, but watch what happens now. Musashi just watched the destroyer yeet our destroyer into oblivion with the help of two cruisers, including the D7P. D7P is a prolific, annoying little turd waffle, right? And then the Sovietsky Soyuz gets spotted, and I'm like, great. Out of everything over here, I get to shoot at a freaking Sovietsky Soyuz. Even with EOP, I'm going to struggle to pin this and do any damage whatsoever. And then on top of that, I also don't have the fire chance, so I'm just basically screwed in this engagement. But if we hit the superstructure, we should be able to do some damage here, albeit, minimal damage. And again, we're going to have to rely on fires against the Sovietsky Soyuz. You can see, even hitting superstructure, we're still shattered 6 shells in that last salvo. Now, this thing does have a pretty solid broadside. It does have a lot of guns, so that's the good news. But again, it really does struggle, and you can see our Musashi just throwing his ship completely away. And it's at this point that I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. I need to get out of here. This is a waste of my time. I need to get some distance between me and the bad guys, because if you don't notice, their entire team is heading this direction. We do get a fire there on the Sovietsky Soyuz as we get behind the island. And now you can see there's a Mogami behind me, and I gotta give the Mogami some credit. I say give the Mogami credit, but I gotta give him a little bit of chutzpah, alright? He is going to be useful, even if it's not in the way that he intended. One way or another, this man will be useful. I will make sure of it. But we are going to try to put ourselves in a position to counter the enemy from a different spot. Again, setting up crossfires, same thing. You guys know what the deal is by now, right? We've got a broadside Balti here. I'm not going to load up the AP because if he angles even slightly, he's just going to shatter our AP at this range. So just keep the HE loaded. Any of these shells that actually hit him, as you can see, they just do everything in their power to avoid hitting him, because that's how this game works. But we finally hit him. We get the fire. We get the kill. Savetsky, Soyuz is coming this way as well, so we're going to go ahead and try to make sure that we put some distance between me and him. And then there's a Flounder rushing in. And Savetsky takes a shot at us. We're already dodging. One of the things you're going to realize is, like, I don't have a choice here but to try to dodge. And you can see he hits us with one shell, gets a little bit of an overpin. But this Flounder is going to be a problem. Now watch, he fires his guns. I'm already turning back, right? Like, I am actively turning back. He hits us with 2 shells, and one of them that hits right in the butt. Literally hits me in the butt. Pins and does a Citadel damage. Are you kidding me? That's what I'm talking about with this ship. Like, this ship does get yeeted regularly, especially in a hiding position. This is definitely what the epitome of a I don't want to get shot cruiser looks like, all right? You don't want to be taking shots. You don't want to be having to dodge in this thing. You can. It's not the most, or the least agile ship in the world. It is a bit long, as you'd expect out of a cruiser that has this many turrets. It is a longer ship, so it doesn't turn the best, but it's far from the worst. And so we're able to dodge relatively easily. Now, one of the things you're going to notice is that I am running Nikolai Kuznetsov as our commander. I'm running Equilibrium of Power, like I said, so you're going to get a little bit of that. But watch this Flounder. This Flounder is literally running into a kiting Japanese cruiser, and I'm the threat, right? Like, he's literally chasing a cruiser that can drop, like, what, 6 torpedoes per side? Fortunately for me, I get a fire. He's going to be preoccupied eventually with shooting at that Mogami, and I'm going to try to use my smoke screen. Now, initially, I wanted to try to keep this guy's attention for a little bit longer. You can see I do take a hit from the, I think it was one last parting salvo from the Savetsky Soyuz, which could have been devastating, but I didn't know it was coming. I thought he had no chance of lobbing that island. I was wrong. But as you can see, Mogami is now getting shredded by the secondaries and the primaries of the Flounder. So we are going to do what we can to make sure that the Flounder regrets life choices. Not only going after that Mogami, who he should have been shooting at the beginning, but also for getting a Citadel on me, and I'm gonna make him regret it, because French battleships do not do well against Equilibrium of Power light cruisers, right? Now, I'm pretty confident that the Kutuzov is a light cruiser. I could be wrong. I don't know. It's been so long since I played this ship. I don't remember what size guns it is, but it definitely feels like a light cruiser by the fire rate, the amount of guns that you have, and the sheer lack of damage that it does when it hits, even with Equilibrium of Power. I just use Equilibrium of Power on my Russian cruisers because they are nasty with the sheer penetrations that they get. Because you know I don't get fires, right? Like, we already know this. Even running no equilibrium, you can see he is slowing down, trying to dodge, but that was one shell for 632 damage, right? Like, these shells hurt when they pin. And we get another hit, but we don't get the fire, and Mogami gets the kill. Now, this D7 is going to be an absolute goober. The enemy team, believe it or not, I know this match looks like it's headed south, and I was pretty confident it was too, but we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that it doesn't head any further south. There are still 3 destroyers in this game. D7 comes out. I can't sit in my smoke screen. I get him spotted. We're going to go ahead and have the AP loaded. I know that the D7 is easily killable if we can just get some good shots at the broadside of this thing. He is angled, so we're going to get a lot of full pins. We're not likely to Citadel him. I would love to Citadel him, but being a light cruiser, trying to Citadel a cruiser at 10 kilometers, unless they go full dum-dum mode, it's going to be hard. But we are taking some good shots at this guy. I would love to see... there's the shots coming in from the Mogami. Not very accurate. There we go. He hit him with a couple of HE shells. But look at this shot. Like, this should be Citadel City, right? If I was at an American cruiser, that D7 is dead. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. Now, I know, generally speaking, I would have HE loaded and in, like, a Cleveland, but if I'm looking at the broadside of a D7 like this, you can guarantee I got AP loaded, all right? It doesn't matter what American cruiser I'm in. But I digress. Unfortunately, we don't get the Citadel. He drops his bombs, and thankfully, I'd already dodged, anticipating it. We've got a beautiful look. Again, full broadside. No Citadels. 9 penetrations, 5 of them full pins, 4 over pins, no Citadel. Finally, we get another shot. 7 pins, no Citadel. What do I have to do to get a Citadel with this ship, man? He's 5 kilometers away. And, of course, we get the Pitadel. And he gets the fire because getting me the Citadels when he's full broadsided, you know, 6 kilometers is too difficult. It's not allowed to give me a Citadel until he's no health, right? That's how it works. But you can see Weimar is trying to shoot us. We're going to go ahead. He's reversing, so we're going to try to hit him. We're trying to dodge as much as possible. The fires do go out, so that's good news for us. We don't have any hit points left, and that is a problem. But we have to do everything in our power to at least keep these guys from being useful, right? Like, we are losing this match right now. We're down over 100 points, but our destroyer is going to do the right thing here. Look at what our destroyer is doing. Is he chasing the damage? No. He dropped torps, and now he is heading into the Bravo cap. That is going to do two things. One, it's going to stop the enemy, and as you can see, the enemy Hayate is close by. I'm the one spotting him as he fires his guns, but I know what's coming, right? Like, it's a gunboat. I know what the Hayate is going to try to do here. And so I've got to try to, like, put some distance between me and the destroyer because he can easily kill me. Like, this thing don't have any armor. That destroyer is fully capable of doing damage with every shell that touches me. And he will come out of his smoke screen. Mogami is a little bit too far away here. I would love to see that Mogami coming my direction. But Mogami ends up being a little bit too far away. I'm trying to turn back towards the destroyer here because I know that if he does engage, and I expect him to, like, he's already shown that he's going to, but you can see I do try to turn the guns to the right, and that's when he decides to come after me, and he gets the immediate fire because, of course, he does, and then look at the damage that he puts down. You can see he is slowing down, so we go ahead and take the shot, but, I mean, it's just, I can't angle against his AG. His AG pins everywhere, pretty much. So that's what I'm talking about with the Kuchazov. It epitomizes everything I hate about cruiser play. Like, legitimately, like, you have to be so reliant on your teammates in order to make that thing useful, which is why nobody plays it. Like, it is just not the option. Like, if you have the option between the Kuchazov and the Ochakov, you're going to take the Ochakov. It's just the way it is. Or the Chapayev, because Chapayev is just better across the board. Or Azure Lane Chapayev, for even more bustedness. But I still think we did okay in this one, despite losing half our hit points and one Citadel from a Flounder at a bull crap angle. But we did what we had to do. And our destroyer, speaking of doing what you have to do, our destroyer is going to do what he has to do. Now, Mogami is going to put himself in a position to counter the enemy destroyer. The destroyer is doing what he's supposed to do, which is go after our other cruiser. Our other cruiser has no hit points, right? Now, you explain to me how this Michelangelo, who hasn't had anything to fight for a minute, the Weimar was shooting at me, you know? So, with the Weimar shooting at me, he should have his damage control, right? But he doesn't, because immediately this freaking Hayate is going to get a fire, and that's going to be the end of our battle, or our cruiser, or Michelangelo. However, Michelangelo does hit him with his SAP and sends him to the Shadow Realm, but then immediately dies to the fire. Now, there's only one destroyer left. We have brought the game somewhat back here. The destroyer is doing his job, getting into the caps. There is enough time that we will win on points if he captures the base. It's just very, very close. And we can't afford to lose anyone else in this fight. And you can see with the torpedoes going out, he has an idea of where the destroyer is, and the destroyer also has an idea where he is. Obviously, he's in the cap, but you'll see where the torpedoes come through in a moment. So we know the destroyer is out here, and this Mogami, once again, he is actually going to put himself in a position to be useful here towards the end of the match. It's going to take him some time to get there, but notice how he's using the islands to approach, not allowing the destroyer to see him until it's far too late for the enemy destroyer, right? If he gets spotted. But Jaeger is going to be behind this island and just doing his job. He's denying enemy points, which means that we are accruing points and they are not. He's also going to end up capturing this base, which means that we're going to get all of the points and the enemy is going to get none. This is huge. Now, what we can't afford is for this Jaeger to make a huge mistake, like back out in front of torpedoes and die. Unnecessarily so. Now, I understand he wants to drop torps himself, but there is no reason for him to be backing out from behind that island. Make that destroyer come to you. You have an island to protect you, and you can see the enemy destroyer is now in the cap, right? Like, this is coming down to a who's going to win. And fortunately for us, we do have a cruiser left, and the cruiser happens to be a Mogami, a heavy cruiser with HE almost guaranteed to be loaded. Obviously, it's the only a destroyer left. He better have HE loaded, but still. Any other point during the match, I'm pretty sure this guy's shooting only HE. Probably has the Azure Lane. God, I can't remember. Starts with an A. I can't remember. Anyway, the Azure Lane Commander that gives you like a 25% fire chance with a freaking cruiser, which is absurd. But it doesn't really matter because by the time, you can see we are detected, he is shooting at us, and I mean, he knows he's losing. We've now taken the lead on points. That is a very accurate salvo, and that is the end of the Sumner. Great game by the Mogami. Again, had to use him for a little bit of, support. He spots the enemy and tanks some of it. Again, he's a heavy cruiser. I'm a light cruiser, right? 124,000 damage. We get second on the leaderboard. Jaeger rightfully doing his job, getting in there, capturing the bases to give us the points lead. And then, of course, Mogami sealing the deal. But a fantastic game overall. Again, I don't like playing these types of cruisers. You guys know that. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.